Hey, how y'all doing? Greg Best here, Holeman Finch Public House in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm making cocktails with Coca-Cola. Now, when we talk about using Coca-Cola in cocktails, you think rum and Coke or bourbon and Coke. Well, it doesn't have to be that simple. Here at Holeman Finch, we kind of have taken the idea of Coke and applied it in a little bit more of an esoteric approach. Basically, the beautiful cocktail, the Manhattan. We're all familiar with that. It's a classic. Well, we were kind of jealous down here in Atlanta. We wanted our version of a Manhattan. So here at Holeman Finch, we created the Resurgens cocktail. The Resurgens cocktail is basically a cocktail that uses Georgia ingredients. It kind of gives a Georgia spin to the idea of a Manhattan. That being said, let's get started. We start simply enough with some nice big cubes of ice in a glass. To this, we're going to start adding the fun stuff. This is an old Italian vermouth. It's actually it's an antique recipe, so a little harder to find this stuff, but if you look around, you can find yourself some antique vermouth, and that's the stuff you want to use for any cocktails at home. So this is going to be kind of the base level. This is going to add a sweetness and a soft kind of rooty character that the Coca-Cola will kind of bounce off of. Next, we're going to add some bitters. Now, what are bitters exactly? Well, basically, bitters are intense concentrations of flavor that you add a few drops to flavor a cocktail with. It's essentially the bartender's salt and pepper. So this bitters is unique because we started along the general lines, high proof spirit, lots of different roots and herbs, dried spearmint and licorice root, but then we figured, let's do something a little different. Let's add our Georgian spin. So rather than sweeten with caramel, we sweetened with Coca-Cola. And what it did was add an entire new layer of flavor in addition to the sweetness. So we're going to use a few drops of that Coca-Cola bitters. The next thing we're going to do is just a splash of Coca-Cola grenadine. And that's essentially cooking down pomegranates in Coke and adding a little bit of sugar, kind of racking it all off and leaving you this nice, amber fluid. And last but not least, the heavy hitter. So we're going to use a rye whiskey that we've infused here in-house with Georgia peach pits and skins. Again, kind of adding that Georgia twist to things. We're going to go ahead and stir this for just a few seconds. This helps marry all of the ingredients. It's going to mellow the heat of the whiskey, bring forward all of that spice and sweetness from the Coca-Cola bitters and the grenadine, and also really tie together the vermouth and the whiskey. That'll work. All right. Got ourselves a martini glass here. A few more cubes. And we're just going to pour that into this glass. That looks good, huh? We're going to finish by garnishing with house-made cherries. Now, these cherries have actually been soaked in a Coca-Cola glaze, which all we did was reduce Coca-Cola down to a syrup and added a touch of maraschino liqueur to give it a kind of a floral component and added our brandied cherries to soak in that. Here we are, your Resurgens cocktail. I'm Greg Best from Holeman Finch Public House in Atlanta. Come on by, see us soon. Cheers.